Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. This one's a bit of a read, but it is all incredibly important. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. As reported by Ethereum World News last week, those familiar with the matter divulged that Adam White, Coinbase's institutional head, had unexpectedly left the San Francisco-based startup to join Bakkt, an up-and-coming crypto platform that has been endorsed by the Intercontinental Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, Microsoft, Starbucks, and a number of other leading venture funds. Someone slipped a couple of days ago and said he actually mentioned that one of the other firms was actually McDonald's. So that has also caused speculation to arise as to exactly how McDonald's could potentially play a role in this, and if they could eventually one day in the future start accepting Bitcoin as well, which would be completely insane. However, at the time, the news was nothing more than a rumor aimlessly floating around the cryptosphere. On Monday, however, Kelly Loeffler, former Intercontinental Exchange or ICE communications head turned Bakkt CEO, issued a Medium post to confirm that her firm had bought up Adam White, Coinbase's fifth official employee. Here's the actual tweet for it. No need to read through it. Loeffler, who is married to ICE's founder, because why not, and CEO, explained that in November, White will be formally joining the American startup as its chief operating officer or COO. Loeffler went on to explain that the former Coinbase executive will be integral in developing Bakkt's goal of creating a transformational digital asset ecosystem. Pay attention to that. Adding that his experience makes him a perfect fit for the job. She wrote, "He's also an excellent fit with our culture of collaboration, problem solving, integrity, and leadership. As a visionary and a strong operator, Adam is a much anticipated addition to our busy team," end quote. Along with announcing the firm's hiring of White, Loeffler went on to reveal how Bakkt is doing from back to end. Per previous reports from Ethereum World News, Bakkt intends to launch its first product, a physically backed Bitcoin futures, by November. Good thing that this is actually still on the time frame. And as alluded in the aforementioned update, the product seems to be right on schedule. Yeah, because part of the problem is that this was first announced in the end of August, the beginning of September, somewhere around that time frame. And as we've had the beginning of the last 10 months, every single time that something has been announced is going to happen in the cryptocurrency space has been pushed back by about 5 or 6 months. And a lot of people were saying or were afraid that if this was announced at the beginning of September and we got news that it was going to launch in November, that we probably wouldn't see it till like maybe the middle of 2019. But over the last, let's say 2.5, 3 weeks, the Bakkt team has been in the news at least once a week, and they've made sure to announce that definitely by November over and over that this is going to happen. The most important part from the entire Bakkt thing as of now, we don't know exactly how long this is going to stretch, like the full extent of all of it. But the physically backed Bitcoin futures that are going to be on a 24-hour basis seems to be one of the most important things right now, as especially this is being through the New York Stock Exchange. So when the New York Stock Exchange, one of the world's largest financial entities, is launching a Bitcoin futures that is going to be 24 hours. Every 24 hours, there will be a new contract that's going to be physically settled, meaning that you have to have the actual Bitcoin. This is where a lot of the hype is like starting to bubble from. I'm incredibly excited for them to actually officially launch and also to do the physical Bitcoin futures. That should, in theory, add an enormous amount of volume to the Bitcoin volume, obviously, and also to the other volume of the cryptocurrency market as the excitement begins to kind of boil over. Loeffler noted that our exchange and clearinghouse boards have all reviewed and approved their respective rules, adding that it will file an application with the American Commodities Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC, very soon. Subject to the CFTC's approval, Bakkt will begin testing its futures contracts in November, with early investors then trading and warehousing product in December if the soft launch is a success. So typically what ends up happening is, for those who don't understand exactly what this means, when something like this launches, especially what's been happening with Coinbase, they say, or the idea is that you have to have people who are seasoned investors, those who have a lot of money, who are able to kind of deal in it first, because in traditional finance, the idea is that you are intelligent if you happen to have $50 million. And if you are only dealing with $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, you are probably not as intelligent as the other investor as far as what's happening in the actual market. Their words, not mine. So this is kind of what it means. If everything goes well with the heavy-handed investors, then the rest of the product will hopefully completely launch in December if the soft launch, as they say, is a success. Closing off the status update, Loeffler took some time to point out once a clear regulatory approach is determined for crypto assets, the better positioned we are to support healthy markets and innovation within a dynamic global marketplace, end quote. As Backed CEO released her update post, Fortune simultaneously released an exclusive interview with Adam White, which was the first time the former Coinbase diehard publicly discussed the matter, tapping into his expertise into the institutional subsector of the cryptocurrency market. White explained that he has had a front row seat for the last couple of years, watching the money managers and big investors evolving views of cryptocurrencies. Seeing that he oversaw Coinbase's institution-focused branch for 18 months, the Harvard graduate explained that he saw a clear shift in the underlying folds of the crypto industry, bringing attention to the growing interest in the asset class from institutions. Although institutions are clearing starting to express crypto-related ambitions, White noted that the crypto platforms aren't developed enough to support a capital allocation from large funds, and as such, the industry veteran thought it would be advantageous for himself, along with the industry as a whole, to join Backed. He also divulged that 2018's bear market hasn't irked him at all. As to him, fundamentals, which are booming, are far from more important than the day-to-day short-term movements of crypto assets. Bringing confidence to his claim, he brought up the example of a Blockstream-based liquid network, which we spoke about a couple days ago, which is a protocol that changes how Bitcoin's ecosystem operates from the ground up. White also added that the number of daily transactions in the crypto sphere is up year to year, further backing his claim that while prices may be depressed, the crypto industry is still booming in 1,000 other ways. A couple of things that I want to first touch on is... Sorry about that. This is directly tying into what I told you guys before, or rather yesterday, like immediately yesterday, I made a video where I was talking about a podcast and what somebody from that podcast was saying about institutional investors getting into the cryptocurrency space. If you have not seen that video and seen the actual or heard the actual podcast, it's incredible. The entire podcast is like an hour and some minutes long. But if you start at the 57-minute mark, like it says in the video, it's really worth your while. This is when he says, and I love that this was actually brought up as well, that the depressed prices haven't really irked him, if you will. They haven't bothered him at all. So many people, and I hope you listening are not one of them, are not paying attention to just what's happening to the cryptocurrency markets. Prices have gone down, and this is something that has not bothered any of the major players getting into the game. Prices have gone down, and we've seen like an 8 or 9-fold of the amount of interest that's actually moved into the cryptocurrency space, and it has to do with the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, all these other major players who are getting into cryptocurrencies. A lot of people have become disheartened with crypto, and they think that crypto isn't going anywhere. The prices have continued to go down. I don't know if it's a spam bot or what, but there's one person who keeps posting in the comment sections like every other video, the market's dead, everyone get out of the market, everything's going back to zero. I beg to differ, and that's my own personal opinion. If you have been here for at least the last couple of videos and you've paid attention to exactly what's happening and who's getting into the market and what's happening, it's really mind-boggling, and it makes me, I want to see how this is all going to play out. The fact, and on that same exact note, you listen to listen to the way that these people speak, the things that they say, and how they mention certain things. None of these people who are getting into this, the New York Stock Exchange, the entire people behind Backed and Fortune and Bloomberg and all these other people, none of them are in cryptocurrency for 6 months to a year. When you listen to how they talk and the things that they talk about and the long-term growth of the market, and they also, sometimes you'll hear them mention, how the market will have matured by 2025 and 2030 and so and so and so. They're in it for the long haul. Like the short term for these people for crypto is around 10 to 15 years. And I want you to take the time to reflect on that as the market has been going down substantially for the last couple of months, not only has interest completely exploded from the institutional investors, but they also are saying, why do you think some of the richest people in the world are getting into cryptocurrencies and then talking about it for the next 15 years. Do you think that these people are getting into cryptocurrencies to lose money for the next 15 years? Do you expect them to get into something, a brand new asset class, and leave Wall Street to get into this to lose? Like, they're not celebrating and having parties because they plan on, losing money year after year for the next 10 to 15 years. Something major is happening. I feel like we are, I want to say on the cusp. That sounds too, like everyone says that, but I feel like we're at the very beginning of something, and it's driving me absolutely insane because it's like this gigantic buildup that's been happening for months. You felt it as well. I'm more than certain you know exactly what I'm talking about. It feels like something is like bubbling beneath the surface. And when we get, like, that's not, and I mean, I have more to even talk about as we go into the video. Everything that's happening, it seems to be completely falling in line. Hopefully, by the end of this year, we have the beginning of what is the next gigantic major bull run. People have been, so, I'm not a stickler for technical analysis, simply because as the cryptocurrency market stands right now, it's far too unpredictable. Somebody can move cryptocurrency, somebody can move 30,000 Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin will go down, and that the technical analysis doesn't account for that. But when I look around, I do like to listen to not really like other crypto channels. A lot of them are kind of like pumpy and dumpy, if you will, but I do read a lot of news and I do follow some other people and what they say. And people are estimating that because of the length of the bear market that we've had right now, the 10 proper months of the prices continuously going down, that the estimation for the next actual bull market is going to be anywhere from 12 to 18 months. That means over the course of 12 to 18 months, prices will continuously increase. There will be, some red days, but overall, end on end, the market will be completely different from what we have right now. I'm incredibly interested to see exactly how this is all going to pan out. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm incredibly excited. I hate rushing time. Time is very fragile. We don't have a lot of it living. But there's never been a moment where I've wanted to be at least a year away from now in the future, so that I can see exactly how the cryptocurrency space has evolved. Because if everything that we've heard and that we've seen over the last couple of months is any indication of where crypto is going to go, it's going to be absolutely glorious within the next couple, like the next year is going to be completely world changing for a lot of people. Alrighty, let's move on. Next up, Binance is in the news. Major international crypto exchange Binance has announced that its fiat to crypto exchange will open in Uganda. The company said on Monday. CEO and founder of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, had told Cointelegraph in an exclusive interview in June of plans to open the Ugandan crypto fiat exchange. As per Binance Uganda's press release, the new branch will officially start accepting deposits and withdrawals of Ugandan shillings, or UGX, on Wednesday. Binance Uganda notes that the exchange has already begun its Know Your Customer procedures, or KYC. An additional press release reports that Uganda's national fiat can only be traded with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that the exchange is planning to add more pairs soon. As Cointelegraph analysis of cryptocurrency in Africa noted that although the Bank of Uganda has issued a warning to investors about cryptocurrency risks in March 2017, the country's government has shown interest in using blockchain technology. Binance's CFO Wai Tsu says the company's first fiat to crypto exchange in Uganda will help maintain sustainable economic stability in Africa, noting that the company plans to bring more innovation to the region. I applaud Binance nonstop. I wish that other exchanges did what they are doing. I think it's very important for those who are unaware, maybe weren't here. I mentioned this at least 3 other times, so I make a lot of videos, so I assume if you hadn't heard it, it's expected that some of the major players in the cryptocurrency game over the next couple of years are going to be South America and Africa, as there is such a, between people not having access to traditional banking in a lot of these countries, to just their governments fiat funds, money, whatever you want to call it, not Uganda specifically. I'm not very well versed on the Ugandan shilling per se, but countries in the region and in these continents have a very hard time with hyperinflation. Right now, I think we also had news that the Venezuela, like yesterday, the Venezuelan hyperinflation has risen to 1.4 million%. That's insane. So the fact that Binance is going forward, Binance also announced a month ago that they planned on opening 2 cryptocurrency exchanges on each continent, at least. I hope they continue to do this. I think it is very important. One, this is how so when you have situations like this and you have people who have lived with a devalued currency for the last 15, 20 years, there's been a lot of, if you ever watched, maybe not, I think it's just me who's kind of obsessive with things like this. I watch documentaries about finance a lot, and when you read or see or hear whatever about the situation in a lot of these countries in Africa and South America, and the 14, 15 times since the year 1990 that they've had different currencies, like they have a new, they get a new currency 3 years later, like hyperinflation destroys it. A new government takes over where they make a new currency, hyperinflation destroys that one, and it happens over and over. So when you lived your entire life, they were talking to someone, I can't remember the exact African country. They were asking someone, they said, what is it like? Because their currency is complete trash, and now they are their only option is to actually they had to pretty much go and beg the U.S. government to have the U.S. dollar be as like their reserve currency temporarily within the country, temporarily, quote unquote, in order to have some type of stabilization within their economy. And people they were asking the people, what do you think about having to use the U.S. dollar as opposed to your currency? And they were talking to this woman. She was like 24, 25. She was like, I think it's great. She's like, my entire life since I was a baby, we've never had a stable currency. We've had at least 10 different currencies since I was a child. So now to have something that's, that's relatively stable, it's great. I can finally go buy things at the supermarket. And I sat there and I'm like, that's insane to think that your entire life you've had some situation like that. So as crypto begins to flourish and bloom more and becomes more popular, this is the beginning of the catalyst that's going to drive cryptocurrency prices higher. And also on the other side, I like the idea of people who haven't had access to traditional financial markets, one, being able to get into cryptocurrency, and two, getting into cryptocurrency early enough that they can benefit economically from this, if that makes a lot of sense. I like the idea of helping people who may not typically have the means or the knowledge in order to obtain wealth or get wealth or grow wealth, whatever the case might be. It makes me excited to think that there are people in not even just Uganda, like I said, within the world who will get into cryptocurrencies early enough that should Bitcoin end up hitting $250,000 in the next 10 years, that they will have a substantial nest egg for them and their family. Whatever. I can go on this all day. Love Binance. I hope they continue exactly what they're doing. Like I said, I'm pretty sure other crypto exchanges are trying to do this, but maybe they're just not as well known as Binance. But I definitely applaud them for everything that they're doing. I hope that they continue. And yeah, let's move on. Next up, earlier yesterday, the South Korean exchange of BitHum launched its very own decentralized exchange. In the news announcement, the team at BitHum welcomed users to the platform on the 15th of October at UTC +8. The full announcement was, and they said, "Dear users, BitHum Decentralized Exchange, or the DEX, was officially launched on October 15th. The BitHum DEX was launched by Hong Kong-based blockchain and fintech BGX Limited. Working with blockchain service innovator One Root Networks, we are continuing to discover and listing more valuable cryptocurrencies. To further stimulate trading action on the new decentralized exchange, the team at BitHum has launched the following initiatives to reward users on the new platform." I'm not going to read through all of it. They have free transactions for a month. Users will only have to pay the gas fees on the Ethereum network. That is the network fees, as opposed to actually paying the transaction fees on the actual thing themselves. They're also giving away $100,000 or 500 Ethereum, airdrops, something, trading, blah, blah, blah. Further analysis of the decentralized exchange yields the fact that Ethereum is the first and only base currency on the platform. The use of Ethereum has made easier by integrating the DEX with MetaMask. A screenshot of the 10 digital asset paired with Ethereum can be found below. Digital assets that are paired on the airdrop have a blue A listed next to them. those are actually kind of interesting coins. I was expecting different coins. We have Dent, POA20, Omise Go, okay. KNC, RNT, INS, I think this is Zilica, ELF, WTC, and CTXC. Okay, so they aren't going for any majorly well-known coins when they do this. What's interesting about all of this is that they have added only Ethereum as the base pair. This leads me to the question, why do exchanges keep doing stuff like this? If you want to increase liquidity, especially amongst smaller coins, you would assume having each coin have a listing with every other coin would be more beneficial to your to your exchange becoming larger, and also to people. Whatever the point is, we've had a lot of other exchanges and stuff like that who have announced that they've thought about using or are going to be using XRP or Ethereum as their base currency. I wonder if this trend is going to continue. There's also a major push right now to try and get more decentralized exchanges out there. A lot of them, like I've said before, have not been the greatest platforms in the entire world that I've used. I hadn't really cared for decentralized exchanges because a lot of them don't really work. I feel like everyone is pushing theirs out in hopes that one of them will end up making it. At some point, someone's going to be able to make an actual decentralized exchange that actually works. But until then, let's actually see. There was also, I think, Binance is launching their DEX soon. I think ETHFinex, if I'm not mistaken, is also launching a decentralized exchange. There's also EOS Finex, who's also launching a. There's a whole bunch of them. It's just a matter of if they're actually going to work. But once again, I want to see if this trend is going to actually continue of people listing the altcoins as the base pairs on their actual websites. Coinbase is once again in the news. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase is launching a new office in the capital of Ireland. Coinbase Vice President of Operations and Technology, Tina Bhatnagar, announced late Monday that the exchange is opening a new office in Dublin, Ireland, in response to customer growth in the European Union. What's more, it's a helpful backstop against the looming exit of the United Kingdom from the European Union, an event known as Brexit. They said, it is also a plan B for Brexit. As we plan for all eventualities, it's important that we continue servicing our customers across Europe, and Ireland would be our preferred choice there if it comes to it, end quote. Martin Shannon, CEO of the country's inward investment agency IDA Ireland, said in a statement that Dublin is a talent hotspot which could aid Coinbase as it scales up. He added that the company looks forward to welcoming Coinbase into the Irish economy and helping them access our talented pool of young professionals from the technology and financial services sector. The news comes weeks after the exchange opened a new headquarters in New York to promote services for institutional clients. As reported of Coinbase, not really important. They're one, finally, good job. We also have news that they're trying to also open an office in Japan. I don't know if Dubai is one of them. Definitely Japan. It's definitely Japan. And this is, I think, my personal opinion, that they're doing this because they're having a hard time listing other coins in the United States. We also had news yesterday, one of the videos where someone was talking about they think that the SEC or the CFTC in the US of A may never actually give proper clarity on individual coins as to if they are securities or not, simply because it comes down to lawsuits. Like I said, if you point at one and say that you're not a security and another one say that you are a security, that one that is declared a security will then be upset. You don't really have this issue in other countries, or many other countries already have come forward and said, okay, these list of coins are not securities and these are securities. Here's the framework. Do with it as you will. I still think that when Coinbase opens officially in Ireland and also in Japan, they said that they're hoping to get their license for Japan by 2019. This is when they're finally, because remember they said that they plan on adding more coins, and they also had another thing that Coinbase said that they plan on adding, I think what was like 90 more coins or something like that. But they said certain coins would only be in certain countries or certain jurisdictions. It's now lining up as to exactly what that meant. Everyone was like, what could that possibly mean? Them trying to go to Japan, and also the Dublin, European Union, somewhere around that thing. I think they also tried to open an office in London, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Pretty much tells me that they're going to be listing an enormous amount of coins within the next 6-7 months, or announcing that they're going to be launching a bunch of coins. And sadly, the US is probably only going to get about 4 or 5 of those coins, while I assume Coinbase is going to try and mimic at least part of what Binance has done. Binance has like 500 coins. So I assume Coinbase is going to at least try to list, I want to say, around 50. It'll be great because Coinbase has listed new coins, but a lot of the US market will be once again exempt from this because of the slowness of the SEC. Last up, probably the biggest news that we have right now. Financial services provider Fidelity Investments is launching a cryptocurrency trading and storage platform. Fidelity Digital Asset Services, LLC, will provide cryptocurrency custody and trading services for enterprise clients, the company announced on Monday. Todd Jessup, who is heading up the new division, announced the platform at Bloomberg's institutional crypto event. It hopes to draw institutional investors, including hedge funds, family offices, and market intermediaries. Fidelity is one of the 5 largest financial service providers in the world. Pay attention to that. That is probably the most important thing I'll say all day. Maintaining some $7.2 trillion in client assets. They said these efforts have been successful in helping us understand and advance our thinking around cryptocurrencies. The creation of Fidelity Digital Assets is the first step in a long-term vision to create a full-service enterprise-grade platform for digital assets. He continued saying, in our conversations with institutions, they tell us that in order to engage with digital assets in a meaningful way, they need a trusted platform provider to enter this space. These institutions require a sophisticated level of service and security equal to the experience they've used to when trading stocks or bonds, end quote. As such, Fidelity plans to build a scalable infrastructure that takes advantage of Fidelity's existing experience in building new or such platforms. At launch, the company will be offering institutional-grade custody, trade execution, and dedicated client service. The platform will custody Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other yet-to-be-named cryptocurrencies at launch. As part of its security system, Fidelity will hold the cryptocurrencies in cold storage, along with multi-level physical and cyber controls. That sounds intense. Fidelity Investments CEO and Chairman Abigail Johnson said the new platform's goal is to make digitally native assets such as Bitcoin more accessible to investors. If you are not excited by the news of this, I don't know what else is going to jog your excitement. I don't think that's a phrase, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. One of the 5, like, the New York Stock Exchange was one thing. The NASDAQ was another. The German Stock Exchange and the Swiss Stock Exchange, those are completely incredible entities as well. When you have one of the 5 largest institutions in the entire world who maintain $7.2 trillion in assets, that's trillion with a T, that's not a billion, that's not a million. That's an enormous amount of money. And the fact that they're gearing or aiming towards extremely rich people, I don't know how much more I can actually push this out there, like how much more excitement I can actually give without screaming into the actual microphone. This is going to be incredibly insane. They don't have the actual time frame on here. I've read in another thing, they said that they hopefully plan on doing this by the beginning of 2019. The trading platform that they're going to, so the trading platform is going to be like, I want everyone to get what is exactly about to happen in cryptocurrencies. When we have the institutional, not even institutional investors, when we have this launching in November, and Bakkt is also part of the initiative that's going to allow institutions and corporations and mega entities and food stores and blah, 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 being able to accept cryptocurrencies as an actual payment. And then when we have Fidelity launching their own cryptocurrency trading platform, storage platform aside, that sounds completely, where was it? The cold storage, the multi-level. I can only imagine what that's actually going to look like. I'm so optimistic about the future of cryptocurrencies. It's almost like worrying to my soul how like excited that I am about all of this. I mean, we don't have much longer left. I think we had a lot of, hopefully the last couple of months have been enough for everyone to build up their infrastructure. I feel like still that just with all of this, a lot of crypto exchanges, I mean, Coinbase and Gemini, I think, are paying attention. So is Binance. A lot of other ones aren't really paying attention. I think these are going to completely dominate every aspect. Like Fidelity and the New York Stock Exchange launching their own crypto trading platforms. These are probably going to be the go-to places in the next couple of years. At least that's kind of how I feel about it, unless you have made sure that you are staying in the forefront of innovation and you have made sure to be or play nice with regulators. But yeah, I mean, this, like I said, is the major news of the day, if you will. I'm incredibly excited. I hope you all are as well. I think that's definitely going to do it for this video. There was something else that I had to say, but it completely slipped my mind. Like when I get too excited, I kind of lose my words and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. The other thing was that the yet to be named cryptocurrencies, I can only imagine what the speculation is going to be. In my opinion, I'm going to say it's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Zcash, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash. Simply because Fidelity is listed in the States, if I'm not mistaken. They may be worldwide, but I think they're headquartered in the States. So don't get your hopes up when it comes to listing other crypto assets, at least not in the States. The rest of the world is definitely moving forward, but let's hope it all works out. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. And I'll talk to you all soon. See you.